Kitchen with me, your host, Justine. Today, we are going to make an apple cake that is my Aunt Virdie's. For those of you that are watching and haven't subscribed, go and click the subscribe button down at the bottom and hit the bell and you will get notifications. I really appreciate that. And I know I haven't been here for a while. I haven't posted anything new. I've been doing a couple of things. I'm redoing my basement, or refinishing, not refinishing, just finishing my basement. And so I'm going to be doing it on the less expensive side of furnishing it. And it's going to be in a farmhouse style. So I know on my Facebook page, I have put out a couple of the things that I've worked on. So if you like that, hop on over to Facebook, Just in the Kitchen with Justine Maldonado, and check it out. You'll see what I've been working on. But the other thing is, my mom's been very sick. She had a couple of strokes. She's broke her back. It's been like one thing after the other with my mom. So any prayers would be greatly appreciated. We feel the prayers that are coming towards us, and they are helping. So just keep praying for my mom that she gets better, all right? And she will hopefully make a presence in my video soon. But for right now, I'm going to be working on getting food over to her, so I don't have a lot of time to videotape that, you know, make it all nice. But this one I am making nice. I did a wedding, maybe right after Mom got sick, and I'd already promised to do it, so I keep my word. And I did the wedding for them. It was a small wedding, and a lot of weddings are getting canceled. My nephew's getting married in 2 weeks, and his venue canceled. And the cruddy thing about it was they kept half the deposit. So they kept, I think he lost like $7,000, which really sucks. If you don't give the wedding, why do you get to keep the money? But that happens. That's my little to that. But my friend called and she said her daughter was supposed to get married at the Renaissance Festival, and guess what? It wasn't happening. She said, I know you cook, you cater. And I'm like, I don't cater. I do not cater. I cook for friends. I cook for love. I don't cater. So I did a wedding, and I didn't find out until like 4 days before the wedding, when they were bringing the groceries over for me to cook. Guess what? It was a Hobbit-themed wedding. I thought that was the coolest. So she had asked for actually she called it bread, I call it cake. She asked for apple cake, and this is what I made, and I made it in like fall theme, you know, so it had the leaves and the sort of woodland feel to it. And so she had a recipe, but this is my Aunt Virdie's recipe, and my Aunt Virdie only made this when people were dead. So if somebody died, she would make it, bring it over to the house, leave it. It was the best cake in the world. And you would be like, oh no, somebody died. Oh, Aunt Virdie's going to be making that cake. And so I loved it. When my father died when I was young, I am like, oh, I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry. I can't eat a thing. And then I realized I had eaten her whole cake. She made it in a bundt, and I just kept slicing until there were no more slices. I don't think anybody got a slice of Aunt Virdie's cake. But Thanksgiving came as I got an adult, and now this is our Thanksgiving cake, or your Hobbit cake, right? All right, so let's get to the ingredients. It's really simple. Homemade applesauce, cooked down apples. Self-rising flour, which makes it easy. 2 eggs, vanilla, oil, sugar, walnuts, cinnamon, nutmeg. Very easy. So I have my flour in there. I'm going to add my sugar. You don't have to use a mixing bowl because this is a very thick one. I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And you know what? You see when they do the cans, why they do the bottom so you can get your spoon in. This one's almost gone. And then you can level off. That wasn't quite a teaspoon. There you go. Won't hurt. A little bit more cinnamon. Ooh, a lot more cinnamon. Then I'm going to put in the applesauce. See how thick that applesauce is? And all I did was took 5 pounds of apples, I cut them down, and I like Gala and I like Macintosh, so that is what's in there. You can use whatever cooking apple you like. And I say 5 pounds-ish because you have to cut the cores out. So if you have a big apple, you have less cores. If you have a bunch of smaller apples like the Macintosh tend to be, you have a lot more to core and seed. Now I'm going to put in 2 eggs. There we go. 2 eggs. The oil. And it's kind of like a dump cake. You just dump everything in there. Now I'm going to put in the nutmeg. About 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Woo! And it went right back in there. Well, what do you know? Well, it puts itself away. Yay! Now, I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Since I have the teaspoon here, there you go. Now, the funny thing was, hold on, I'm just going to break these eggs and I'm going to stir it. That's it. I am just stirring. The funny thing about this is, it was one Thanksgiving and I wanted this cake. I thought, well, you know, it's apples and it has walnuts in it. It'll be a good cake for it'll be a good cake for Thanksgiving. So I called my granny who lived in Tennessee, right near my Aunt Virdie, but I didn't have Aunt Virdie's number. And then Granny called me back with it. And my Aunt Virdie, she's like, well, you put in 2.5 cups of the flour, and honest to goodness, I think she was talking coffee cups. I mean, this was a very forgiving recipe that she had, and I don't think she used like standardized measuring cups for it. And then she's like, about 2 cups or so of sugar. So this is what I find my version, although sometimes I put more apples in there and make it up. Oh, look at this. Now it's come together that quickly. There we go. Now, all I'm going to do is add my walnuts to it. And she said a cup of walnuts, but I love walnuts. When I made it for the wedding, it was nut-free. And you can put it in any kind of baking dish that you want. I am going to do what I did with the wedding since it is fall. Although, let me tell you, it does not feel like fall here. It feels like summer. I think it's 78 degrees today. So hence why I'm still in a sundress. So look at these. Look at these little leaves. Aren't they adorable? So I did it in this. And you just spray it over your sink. Make sure to get the sides so it comes out. You can do it in little pumpkins. You can do it in whatever you want. Now, this is one that I have for fall. See, it has little pumpkins on it and stuff. And I made this so they could slice it. So here I have about 5 pounds of apples. A bag. 5-pound bag of apples. They're Gala and Macintosh. That's what I like to use the best. I put a little bit of water, like 2 tablespoons in the bottom. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to let it cook down, and it's going to be like chunky applesauce. This is the secret to this cake. Now, my Aunt Virdie was not very clear on anything, but this is what I find to work. Now, if you have more than 2 cups of applesauce, you can put some cinnamon in it and eat it that way. just plain. It's great. It's great in oatmeal. But this is how we do it here. Now here are my apples. You'll notice some of the apples are chunky, and the Macintosh cooked down to like a smooth, but I like chunky and smooth in this cake. And then I just take my favorite masher and a mash. I'm gonna let it cool off so I can put it in my cake mixture. There we go. Then you just take it off. Now I had it up on high to begin with, and then I put down on low. So I had, once it started bubbling, I turned it down to a low. Here we are on the glaze. I have a cup of brown sugar, putting a tablespoon of milk, a half stick of butter. So 4 tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to heat that up, bring to a boil, and let boil for a while until all the grains are gone and it gets nice and silky. Let's put it that way. Then I'll add vanilla and the nuts to it. But this is our glaze for it, and this is what, I mean, the apple cake's good, but this is what makes it over the top. So we'll be right back. I forgot to mention, I put about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt in there. That's my own little additive. I like it because it takes away some of the super sweetness. Now I have it on medium heat, and I'm just going to melt the butter and let it come to a boil. Now, if I see little pieces of sugar coming up on it, I don't stir it, by the way, but if I see little crystals of sugar, I just take a brush. It's like making a caramel. I just take a brush around the side because I don't want it to be grainy. I want it to be caramely. But it's very important to do a heavy bottom pan. This is Le Creuset. I'll put it down in the description box on where to get it. But I absolutely love Le Creuset for making caramels and things like that because the bottom is nice and heavy. And then this is a new type of style that they have, because in the past it would be like over here and it would get hotter than Hades and I could not pick it up. But I absolutely love this. I don't know if you can see. It's kind of caramely, right? And see how it goes like that. So I'm going to take it off the heat. I'm going to add the vanilla in it. Listen to it bubble, and it will always bubble when you put vanilla in there. Okay. Then I'm going to add nuts in about a cup. To me, more is better. But if you're taking this somewhere and nobody likes nuts or you're afraid of nut allergies, you can leave it out of the whole recipe. I did for the wedding. There we go. Whoops. All I'm going to do is just put a little bit on each one. Little glaze. Oh, I wish you could smell this. It smells so good. And they look so pretty. There you go. Just a little on each one. Let the glaze run down, drip down the side. And little hint, if your glaze starts to thicken up or you let it cook down too long, go ahead and put a little apple cider in there. It'll loosen it right up. Don't put too much. And if you find you did put too much, this is a forgiving recipe. Remember, my Aunt Virdie said, hey, take a cup or 2 cups or 2.5 cups. It's like a very forgiving recipe. But The apple cider only makes it better. There we go. And then I'll pour the rest over here. And I have to say, it's where it pulls up into this that makes it so, like the center. When she made the bundt cakes, I would, this is so mean, I would go in to the center of the bundt cake and get all the caramely glazed goodness before anybody else could. I'd just take a spoon and eat the whole thing. And they're like, well, isn't that weird? It didn't pull up this time, or what'd she do? Yep, she didn't do anything. Got my spoon. There you go. There's your apple cake with walnuts. So, this is all going to people. I will not be tasting it, but let me tell you, I know since I was a little girl how good this cake tastes. You must try it. It is delicious. It's moist. It's delicious. You have to try my Aunt Virdie's apple cake. There's none like it. I've seen other recipes. They put chunks of apples and everything. This beats them all out of the water. So, remember, for this recipe and more, where do you go? www.justinthekitchen.com, and look over on Facebook and see what I've been up to. I've finished a church pew. It's absolutely, I was so tickled with it. Message me with prayer requests. I'm going to give another one out to you guys. I have a friend and his father just passed away today. So this was going to some people. Now this is going to him and his family, and then these are getting split amongst other people. So pray for them and their family. You don't need to know the name. You don't need to know anything. Just pray. And put your prayer request down at the bottom. Or what can you do? You can message me your prayer request, okay? And make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell. Thank you. Happy fall, everybody. God bless. Bye-bye.